Nominees for the best performance by a featured actress in a musical are Judy Kaye, The Phantom of the Opera. Lolita Kumala, Sarafina. Alison Reed, Cabaret. Regina Resnick, Cabaret. And the winner is...
Judy Kaye!
Hoje a gente vai conversar com a maravilhosa Judy Kaye, que foi original de várias peças da Broadway, incluindo O Fantasma da Ópera, Ragtime, Nice Work If You Can Get It. Judy, thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview for us. I have to admit, I'm kind of starstruck. I'm a huge fan of your work.
Thank you.
I remember on your last Tony Award, when you, on your speech, you said chandeliers were very good to you.
Yes.
And I thought there was something very clever. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, they have figured somewhat prominently in my career, as it turns out, certainly insofar as the Tony Award is concerned, because I received my first Tony Award for playing Carlotta in The Phantom of the Opera, and certainly there's a very large chandelier that appears and scares me. It scares me. I screamed a lot about that one. But then, in Nice Work If You Can Get It, my character, Estonia Dulworth, she becomes drunk. She becomes imbibed. And not through any fault of her own, by the way. Someone slips her a little moonshine, and anyway, she gets drunk, and in a moment of just free excitement, I guess, just ebullient, she grabs onto a chandelier and takes a ride. Swings back and forth. I'm paying for that move right now. I'm having knee surgeries and shoulder surgeries and all that. But doggone it, it was worth it.
Involved in musicals that were really game changers in the musical theater scene. Mm-hmm. You've been in the original company of Grease.
Well, I was in the first national company that toured. I eventually did it on Broadway, but I wasn't the original Rizzo, I have to say that. Adrienne Barbeau was the original Rizzo on Broadway. I was the original in that first national company opposite such people as John Travolta was 17 years old playing Duty, and Jerry Zaks, who's a very successful Broadway director, played Kanicki. He was my boyfriend. I was Rizzo. Mary Lou Henner, who's had a wonderful career in television and film. She was Marty. And it goes on and on. We had an amazing company.
Could you imagine that would be such a big hit, and it turned out to be a very classic musical? Like everybody knows it. If you were a little kid at some point, you have seen Grease. You know Summer Love. You know all
absolutely. The songs. Well, yeah. I mean, once the Bee Gees got involved, it sort of became something very different. But our version of Grease was the original, down and dirty Grease.
That's wonderful. And you've been involved also with Ragtime. You were the original Golda.
Emma Goldman.
Emma Goldman. Yeah. Yeah, that was also a very big musical.
Oh, that's one of the spectacular musicals ever written. It was so unfairly treated in New York. It should still be running. That original production should still be running, I believe, somewhere on Broadway, because we'll never see its like again. They tried to revive it, but they shrank it. And
it's not the same.
It's not the same. It's not the same.
Common that most of your characters have is that they're very strong-willed women.
It's turned out that way. I played Lucy Van Pelt in Your Good Man Charlie Brown when I was...
That is a very strong...
Yeah, I was in the Los Angeles company of that. It was one of my first really nice jobs. In fact, the second equity job, Actors Equity is our union, second equity job I ever had. And sometimes I think that all of the roles that I've played since then are just continuations of Lucy Van Pelt, you know.
Well, it's how she grew up to be.
She's very strong. She's strong, and she's right. She's always right.
Now, how you originated so many roles, and you've been involved with like the original creative team. How is that compared to like actually taking over a role? How is the work of an actor for that?
It's very different. It's very different. When I did Grease, we had a wonderful director, but he tried very much to direct me into the performance of the woman who had originated the role on Broadway. Okay, and it happens that she has this wonderful face that always has sort of a Mona Lisa smile. So you never know what she's sort of thinking. Well, they wanted me to do that after I said everything, and I tried mightily for quite a while. I could not do it, and one day I finally just let loose and said, you know, I'm going to play this part. I'm going to play this part the way I play it, the way it comes out. You know, I will use who I am. And they went, that's it, it's perfect. So
you could have done that since the beginning.
They could have done that since the beginning, but there was.
Well, I have to ask, since you brought it up, you've worked with Bernstein, you worked with Sondheim, you worked with Lloyd Webber. How is it like? How was to work with this amazing composers then?
It's the best thing. There are a few things about being in this business that are incredible. The friendships that you make, the experiences that you have singing at the White House for the president, all of that sort of thing. And maybe on top of the list is getting to work with the people who create all of this magic. And for me to be able to find out what was going on, what was in their minds, what is it they really, really want, and then try to give it to them. I think it's so exciting and so thrilling, and I feel very fortunate. That's understating it. I feel very honored that I have gotten to work with so many amazing. I mean, that's just the tip. I won't say the tip of the iceberg, but it's part of a very big iceberg of people. I'm old enough to have worked with some of the people who gave us the greatest literature for the American theater. And then I'm also young enough to be able to work with the people who are carrying the torch, who are continuing it, and I cherish all of that.
I want to dedicate this to my dad. We lost him last week, and like me, he was a lifelong fan of the brilliance of George and Ira Gershwin. Thank you, Daddy, and thank you all. Good night.
And we often ask two questions for all the performers we talk to. The first one is, what is your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, I don't have a karaoke song.
Well, you know, cabaret is like open mic song.
An open mic song. Oh, golly. This is blindsiding me because I think about what I'm saying.
We can always add it.
Yeah. I it's hard for me to say. I go back to the Great American Songbook, to Gershwin, and to Rodgers and Hart and the like. So it might be. It's very clear our love is here to stay. Not for a year, but ever and a day. The radio and the telephone and the movies that we know may just be passing fancies, and in time may go. But oh my dear, our love is here to stay. Together we're going a long, long way. In time the Rockies may crumble, Gibraltar may tumble. They're only made of clay. But our love is here to stay. I guess that's my open mic song.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I'm glad we caught it a little bit in an open mic situation. Well, thank you so much for, taking the time to do
Thank
this.
you,
It was such a pleasure talking to you and getting to know you a little bit.
Yeah.
I've been a big fan of your work, and
Thank you.
we're very excited to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.